2025 has been off to a pretty slow start for new movie releases so far, but don't worry, spring is right around the corner with some major releases coming out. So here are the biggest new movies releasing in March and April, ranked by how excited I am for them. In last place for me is the Snow White live action remake for a couple reasons. First of all, I am simply just so tired of these Disney live action remakes. They're just so lifeless and pointless 99% of the time. Hopefully Lilo and Stitch will be good. This one I really don't think is going to be good. I'm also not a big fan of the first original Snow White movie. That might be blasphemous to say. I don't think that's a very good movie whatsoever, so I don't really care about the remake of it. Plus, having Gal Gadot play a huge role in this movie could just kill all hype I'd ever have for it. I actually do really like Rachel Zegler, unlike the rest of the internet, so I hope the movie does well for her sake so she can keep getting these leading roles, and I hope she's actually good in the film. Otherwise, I'm just not that excited for this. At number 9 is Drop, a new thriller horror movie from Blumhouse. It's about this woman that goes on her first date in many years, and while she's on the date, it gets kind of sabotaged as she's getting spam airdropped on her phone, all these different instructions and things she has to do or else they're gonna kill people. Based on the trailer, it kind of looks very similar to Carry On that we just got from Netflix a couple months ago. I mean, we all know this is just gonna be very stupid. Hopefully it can be entertaining at least. And number 8 is a new A24 film, Opus, starring Ayo Edebiri and John Malkovich. It's about this pop star that's been living in the shadows for many years, and she suddenly just emerges out of nowhere. It's supposed to be some horror thriller. Again, this thing got absolutely just panned out of the film festivals. People are saying it's just a very big disappointment and a messy film. I do like Ayo Edebiri. I'm gonna check it out, but my expectations are pretty low. At number 7 is The Accountant 2, because if you asked me for a list of 100 movies that desperately needed a sequel, The Accountant from 2016 would definitely not make that list, but hopefully this is just dumb fun. At least Ben Affleck is returning, so hopefully he can just give this movie some juice. At number 6, I have Until Dawn. Based on the video game, I'm very conflicted about this movie because I absolutely think the video game was a banger. Real ones watch FaZe Jeff play that back in the day. That was so much fun. But here's the thing, the video game took place in this snowy cabin in the woods and people started getting murdered, and the whole mystery was who's this murderer and what is the supernatural element, which, spoiler alert, ended up being these Wendigos. And it's one of those video games where you make choices that directly affect the characters. You can get a ton of different endings where either everybody lives, half the people die, everybody die. There were so many different options. They could have simply picked one of those stories and one of the endings to make the movie based off of. The thing is, if you go watch the trailer for the Until Dawn horror movie, they basically just took the name and nothing else. It's just its own original horror film. It has a completely new set of characters. Story's completely different too, because it's a time loop horror movie where they keep dying in different ways and getting set back to the same place the night before, and they have to make it until dawn. The video game was not a time loop movie in any way, shape, or form. So the movie itself doesn't look bad. I'm kind of just turned off by the fact that they named it Until Dawn and got the rights from the game, only to completely abandon everything people loved about the game. At number 5, I'm not joking, I have the Minecraft movie. Is this most likely going to be terrible and one of the worst movies out of everything I listed? Maybe. But it's going to be an absolute meme. It's going to be hilarious to watch, whether it's intentionally funny or just so bad it's funny. This is just going to be a must-see event in theaters. Plus, I really think this movie is going to be more of a satire. It doesn't seem like it's taking itself serious whatsoever from the trailers. I think there is actually potential that this is just a really solid fun time at the theaters too. I'm not gonna lie, I grew up playing Minecraft. I played it on the Xbox 360, Xbox One. I have so many hours on that game. It's gonna be cool to see this come to life, even if it's garbage. At number 4, I have Novocaine, a new kind of action thriller movie starring Jack Quaid. The entire premise is that he's just this kind of regular, well-mannered guy, but he actually has this genetic condition where he cannot feel pain whatsoever. The premise of the movie is that his girlfriend gets kidnapped by these bank robbers and he has to use his very unique powers of not feeling any pain to try to save her. It seems very similar to a movie like Nobody, kind of this regular, well-mannered dude that has to now be the action hero kind of thrown into this life. Jack Quaid's been on a pretty good hot streak lately, especially starting off this year with Companion, one of the best films of 2025 so far. I'm honestly excited to see him in this new type of role, even though it probably will be very similar to his Huey character from The Boys. Before the top 3, I'd really appreciate if you just hit the like button real quick and let me know in the comments which of these movies you're most excited for coming out in the spring. At number 3, I have The Legend of Ochi, another A24 movie. It follows this young girl who's kind of raised to believe that these creatures, the Ochi, are very dangerous and something to fear, but she ends up finding one that's kind of stranded and left alone and ends up forming this friendship with it. Sounds like a pretty cool original premise to me. The heartwarming potential is off the charts in this type of movie, plus Willem Dafoe's in it, and if you have Willem Dafoe in your movie, you automatically get placed in the top 3 for how much I'm excited for it. At number 2 is a huge jump up in quality, though. We got Sinners from Ryan Coogler, who's probably one of our best working directors nowadays, and definitely has the potential to be if he's not already in that conversation. This is like some vampire hunting action thriller movie that looks absolutely insane from the trailer. Michael B. Jordan is playing twins in this movie. We got Haley Steinfeld as a vampire. I don't know what else you need to hear. I'm completely sold on this film. And with the kind of rough start that 2025 has been off to, this seems like a pretty safe bet to be the best film of the year so far when it releases. Obviously, summer will have more competition that will probably dethrone it, though. I always just love to see directors like Ryan Coogler get away from studio huge franchises like Black Panther and Creed to make something like this that's just so unique. Number 1 for me is Mickey 17, the new comedy, and I'm sure it's going to have some really serious topics in it too, from Bong Joon-ho, starring Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson is playing this expendable whose entire job is to die and test out these million different ways. Shout out to whoever designed these posters. These are so creative and cool. I absolutely love it, showing all these different jobs and the way he's dying. Robert Pattinson is actually also playing another version of himself in this because something goes wrong. There ends up being 2 of his character alive at the very same time. I've been watching through Bong Joon-ho's entire filmography and he has yet to miss on a movie yet, so I'm just excited based off his track record. I feel like this is bound to be great. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me rank the biggest summer blockbusters by how excited I am for them, make sure to tap the video above my head on screen right now. Again, thank you so much for watching.